Hello. Fuck Cape Shit. Welcome to another episode of Shittywebcomics Weekly. Brought to you by our Subscribe Star backers, as usual. Uh, Donate to us, get access to the super extra deep lore that many people out there don't want you knowing about. This stuff, maybe people also don't want you knowing about it either. But here it is. I always like doing the weekly, the Shitty Webcomics Weekly really is just to promote our fucking our pig paywall videos. But starting right off the bat is that I wanted to mention that I did fix the input thing from earlier. I looked at this goofy video tube mini thing that it makes the little VTuber thing in the corner. And as I thought, the threshold was just set down a little too much. There's a lot of room tone, the air conditioning, blasting, making it delicious and chilly in here. Just the way I like it. But anyways, so just continuing off though, is the next thing was from Doomer Armis. It's a picture of fucking Gul Dukat, and it's like put on some really fucking muscular dude body with fucking some kind of gold straps. It looks like something from Voyager. That's really what it looks like. But then it's just Gul Dukat's head put onto it, and it's signed by Mark Alamo. It says that's pretty impressive. I wonder how much he enjoyed fucking signing that. It's just
a lot.
lol as the applause.
A lot.
The next one is from Reverend EMH, Theocratic EMH, the myth of consensual sex, and it's fucking the doctor from Voyager saying I consent, and I was gonna say Kes, but that's not Kes. It's like some other chick. It's probably from an episode I haven't seen because again, Voyager is just it was hard for me to watch. I'll get into that after. I'll get into that for a long time right after I explain the rest of this meme. But it's I consent, I don't, and it's Balana saying I don't. Isn't there someone you forgot to ask? And the account, by the way, for Theocratic EMH from the USS Voyager, Christ-pilled Delta Quadrant male, spreading the message of Christ throughout the universe, Presbyterian, STBR, parody account because it's illegal to do a parody account if you don't say, but
you have to know it's not actually the holographic doctor from Voyager's Twitter account.
First of all, holographic doctors do not yet exist, so that's an important piece of context. But
if they did, this wouldn't be his account.
This still wouldn't be him. Anyways,
this is the theocratic version.
The thing about Star Trek Voyager, I think I mentioned this or I tried to mention this in a previous episode. I forgot if I really did, but I remember watching Voyager when it premiered. It's like the new Star Trek show. TNG's
we were
over.
Watching Star Trek already. TNG and then DS9 and the movies.
Yeah,
we caught up with like all the movies at that time too.
I was pretty into it. It was pretty good, but
good.
Yeah, I was, so we watched Voyager. It premiered, big deal. I was totally pumped. It was like the next TNG. It's going to be all these new characters. They're going to be in a new crazy situation. And then it was like TNG for retards. I was like, oh boy. And I think I did mention in a previous one of these videos about about the time the Voyager got completely hijacked and stolen by people who didn't even have warp drive or something. They didn't even have brigs. Their prisons were just
like they're like less advanced than the fucking who was it, the space retards,
the Packleds. The Packleds. The Kazon were like lesser than the Packleds. From what you could see from the show, apparently. I don't remember ever seeing Voyager flying away from the Kazon at warp speed and the Kazon being able to keep up.
That was supposed to be the idea. Is like they couldn't even fucking get water. It's like, how the fuck How the fuck do these people exist?
Yeah, I don't. It just don't make no sense. Anyway, Zah. The Yeah, that was the thing that always bothered me about Voyager, like going up into season 2. I think that was the season 2 finale was Basics, where they just get stranded and it's like, you stupid assholes, you have this whole ship. It's your ship, and the Kazon completely kick every last one of you off of it, except for the doctor and a serial killer. It's like, really, fucking thanks, Voyager. Thanks for fucking just being the dumbest crew. I legitimately remember thinking that they deserved it, and that I didn't want to find out what even happens next. And
It never happened. It's like it never happened, and they deserved it. Except it also happened.
yes, it did happen, and they deserved it. And both were true, but I mean that usually is the case, isn't it?
Actually, if you want to ask me, I'm trying to take a throat drop right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Delicious throat drop. But the episode that ruined the show for me was actually called Maneuvers.
That was earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was season 2.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of shit in season 1 that, like, even the one where they get swallowed by like some kind of space entity, gas giant entity fucking thing. That was okay because it was like,
Was that the Cloud? I think that was the
yeah,
second episode or the third episode.
yeah, I think it was
I
the
remember
second or
watching
third.
some of season 1,
Just on
but
a
even the
generic
episodes that were good
level.
were just like so dull.
I remember, yeah, season 1 had some episodes that were okay in the sense that, like, the TNG episode where they all devolve and Barclay turns into a spider, that episode, I remember liking that because it's like, hey, it's more of TNG, and I like TNG. So even bad TNG was good to watch. And that's kind of what some of early Voyager was. And then the rest of early Voyager was just dog shittest fucking painful to watch stuff like fucking Twisted.
Dog
Um,
shittery. Yes, yeah. Twisted was a notoriously bad, boring episode. That was the ultimate crime of Voyager. Most of the time was that it was boring, and
it
when it
was way
wasn't
more boring than it had any right to be. There was
when it
no
wasn't
reason.
boring, it was really stupid. But in particular, was the episode Maneuvers, where I think Seska is leading the Kazon. They come back again. I don't think they have warp drive, but they somehow managed to fire a shuttle through the hull of Voyager.
Oh yeah, and it's like,
Fucking punctures Voyager's hull. Then they fucking board Voyager.
why not make the ship out of the black box? What?
And then they steal a transport module because the Kazon don't have transporters.
The Kazon don't have brigs either. They just have a square on the floor that you're told not to stand out of. You're told not to leave that square.
It's a line on the ground. You're not allowed to move.
Yeah, you're not allowed to step over the line.
In a cave.
It's like bowling.
And occasionally, they'll have a guy with a gun standing on the other side of the line.
This is not numb. This is bowling. There are rules.
There are rules.
Anyways, yeah,
But yeah, they get on board Voyager. Like, they get aboard a hostile foreign spaceship that is more technologically advanced and is supposed to have, like, the best trained security.
Force fields every 5 feet, basically. They're supposed to be able to make a force field every 5 feet.
And these fucking idiots get on board by just flying a shuttle into the hull hard enough to bust open the side of the hull.
Yeah, which you'd think either would be able to fucking it would either like smash on impact to the point where everyone would be dead, or it would be so powerful that it wouldn't just punch through the hull. It would probably punch through several decks of the ship.
I mean,
or something.
it's even worse than that because it somehow fucking managed to get through that. Because of course, if you destroy the ship, you might lose some of the precious technology that they'll keep making for you to steal. And sure enough, they use the transporter to beam themselves off with a transporter module. So now they have transporters and they have a fucking just carte blanche to have free reign over the entire fucking ship.
And it's like,
Voyager's just like a fucking, it's a floating candy store
yeah,
for
yeah,
them.
exactly.
And it's like, at no point in this episode should any of this fucking shit have happened.
Other races just harvesting the crew's lungs at a will and just running off with it. And
And then Janeway lets them go.
yeah, Janeway's like, okay, we'll just take one of the lungs back. And it's like, shouldn't that would have been a great moment for Janeway if she was like,
She
no,
doesn't
we're
take
taking
one of the lungs back. They use Kess's
Oh yeah,
lung.
that's fucking. They fuck over Kess and fucking Hedgehog Der Scheisskopf as
Their Scheißkopf.
as
He's
SF
such a shithead.
Der
He is
Bruce.
also German.
He's German, or the Germans would refer to him as this way. But anyways, Voyager. It was such a disappointment that I actually stopped watching DS9 too, which is boneheaded, I know, but we're talking about the fucking 90s, and the 90s were just a fucking wasteland.
I'll admit this. It was nice to be able to come back freely, like years later, to watch basically to binge watch the entire show all at
Yeah,
once.
somebody-
So that's how we discovered DS9.
Someone sent us burnt DVDs of DS9 of the last two seasons, and I was able to just
No, I know
shoot
it was
through all
like
of
season 5 to 7.
Yeah, that's right. It was
Because
the last
Way
three
of the Warrior
seasons.
was on there. I
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
right. I do remember fucking watching. I remember watching some of that shit with the Worf era of DS9. I remember watching that and liking that and liking a lot of the stuff. And actually, I think about that point, DS9 was on a UHF station that wouldn't come in through it wouldn't come in through cable anymore. It was a very weird system where I didn't have a choice. We couldn't watch it anymore because of cable. Like, I would have to unhook from the cable. It's like, okay, then I can't watch History Channel
I
or
also
fucking
remember
other
being
shit.
a little let down by The Search. That was like the very first episode after they introduced the Jemadar.
Oh yeah, it was a little weird, but I remember watching after that.
Stuff, and it's like, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. And then it was just okay. And it's like, huh.
But I mean, I remember the die is cast and that kind of stuff, and being like, "This is the stuff I wanted out of like Voyager." And at least DS9 had that. But yeah, I kind of just phased out of a lot of shit.
Voyager had the concept of Voyager was awesome.
Yeah,
it's Star Trek, but the ship has no support, no official support from the fleet.
The show Voyager did get a lot better, at least more consistently after.
So we're talking about like they literally even started with the production number of 801 for a fucking Caretaker because they just considered it to be season 8 of TNG.
Yeah,
and if you know anything about TNG, season 7 was a lot weaker.
But at least it was still like even season 7 of TNG was still better than fucking the first 2 seasons of Voyager. But I mean, it's funny. It's like first 2 seasons of TNG are bad. It's like, wow, remember, that when that was the worst. Remember when people thought that fucking Star Trek Enterprise was the bad show and that was the worst?
I still say though that seasons 1 and 2 in TNG are the bad episodes. If you just don't count Voyager or Discovery and Picard as being TNG or Star Trek at all.
Yeah.
If you don't count them at all,
and then there's Strange New Worlds.
1 and 2 of TNG are still some of the worst Star Trek.
Yeah, some of the worst actual Star Trek, which, Discovery isn't fucking... I mean, some of the other worst Star Trek is, again, Lower Decks. We won't get into Lower Decks again. We fucking covered that way too thoroughly. But, I mean, I did say what I wanted to say about Lower Decks, but it's also like, wait a second, people aren't going to want to hear about fucking Lower Decks on the STBR video, are they? Too late now.
Believe me, I understand that.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, like I said, though, in that episode, in that video, Lower Decks is definitely more real Star Trek than Discovery and Picard is by fucking far.
Like the lowest bar.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. But the thing is, the later episodes of the first season of Lower Decks actually get relatively decent.
Yeah, I had to watch to find out for myself.
Yeah, I legitimately think that most of that, like, the better episode, not the worst episodes, but the better episodes of Lower Decks are better than the worst episodes of TNG.
I can't blame people for giving Lower Decks bad word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because, again...
it deserved a lot of it.
Discovery and Picard, they
Yeah.
just so poisoned the well,
Yeah, it was such a disaster.
which is the best metaphor
The
to
trailer
describe.
sucked too. Let's not forget the trailer for for Lower Decks was
Oh yeah,
entirely the first two episodes, and it was just some of
yeah,
the
the
most
worst.
painful parts. The actual funny or interesting stuff from Lower Decks is nowhere to be seen in the trailers
Did we
because
already
it's the
cover
later
that in a
episodes.
video? I'm pretty sure we covered some of that. The fucking where Mariner
Yeah,
gets her foot just fucking
yeah,
impaled
we
on a
mentioned that
pillar.
in the very first episode of STBR, which we're now not covering anymore because we stopped for like
We're
15
fucking
straight fucking minutes to talk
doing a
about
real
Voyager.
disservice to STBR. Oh,
Yes.
it'll be okay. We'll make up for it in another 12 videos.
Yes, the next
12
few episodes of
consecutive
this.
videos about STBR.
Yeah, don't worry. All the next stuff will be about this. Speaking of which, though, I mean, Voyager. Talking about Voyagers is really interesting because it used to be the black sheep of the series. Then Enterprise came out. That was the black sheep, and we're like, wow, can Star Trek get any worse than Star Trek Enterprise? And it was like, oh yeah,
It turns
it
out Star
really
Trek
can.
Enterprise is at least trying.
It's at least still Star Trek. And
At
the
least it's a show.
yeah, and the Xindi season had many, many good episodes, and then the final season, it was cool to see the final season of Enterprise. Like they're on the ball, good writing, good episodes that aren't about the Xindi stuff. They're just about the independent stuff.
Remember,
So
though, also, remember when you could actually fucking learn something from the audience backlash?
yeah, there's that too.
Remember when the
Yeah,
audience would say they didn't like something, and the people making the show would say, "What's wrong with us?
yeah, they would actually consider and go like, wait, okay, is there something
We
wrong?
need to
Well,
change. We need to improve."
or at least we need to think about it. At least think about it. Nowadays, it's like fucking,
Yeah, I'm not even
report
saying
them
you
to the
have to be
ADL.
beholden. You don't have to be beholden to the audience, but if the audience is complaining that you're not real Star Trek, then you at least need to be considering what you're doing.
The current showrunners of Star Trek, if you complain about Discovery or Picard too much, the showrunners of the new Trek will report you to the ADL to have you circumcised immediately.
Immediate emergency
Just
circumcision.
the most J-wordy punishment they can
Not
possibly
just,
think
not
of.
just circumcision, but they're also going to bite the end of your dick off.
And then
I forgot what
suck
that's
it.
called, where it's
The
like,
moil. It's called circumcision, of course, with the
no,
breast.
it's specifically when they fucking bite the end of the baby's dick off. And it's got some very specific term.
It's a little too God's chosen for my tastes.
I've had enough of this Hebrew nonsense.
Yes.
The Akiva Goldsman
Gold.
era of Star Trek.
Goldsman. He's fucking. How many precious metals are you gonna put in your name? Anyways,
Is one step away from Coin Black.
fucking
That'll always be my favorite.
coin blat. But what's also great is I just opened the next one. It's from Cool Ducat, and it's fucking it's the Statue of Liberty weeping as Picard is over Paul Winfield, fucking as he's dying. It's just like one of the most bizarre sort of secretive references to those Kelly political cartoons from The Onion, which is fucking. I was wondering, is there going to be something in the replies? No, but you don't need it. You just know, you understand, which is the whole fucking thing about the I don't want to do what I was doing in the earlier fucking episodes ago, the Damar episodes. No, it was fucking the episode.
That's not Damar.
He's not called Damar. He's not even called that any of that stuff in the episode. In fact the name of the race is like not even really remembered. The funny thing is that most of that stuff, the character's name and the name of his race is not really remembered by fans.
Tamarians or some shit.
Yeah, I think they're called the Tamarians. And again, the sad thing is I remember that because of Lower Decks, where there's a Tamarian on the fucking crew. And
They do a bunch of goof. extremely cornball fucking jokes.
Yeah, and some of them, sometimes it's funny just to see jokes about that, even if they're not good. There's an element of that in Lower Decks, like if you're Star Trek, if you're a real
Yeah,
Star
they're
Trek
like in
fan.
jokes.
Yeah,
They're
like
series of jokes
the
or
fact that it's
franchises.
just, well, yeah, the same way that the Pac-Leds returning as a major
It's still
villain.
what I'd rather want. It's more what I want
Yeah,
from the show than Discovery or Picard. Picard gives you nothing. If you like Picard or TNG or Star Trek in general, you get nothing that you actually want or like in Star Trek
yeah,
Picard
it's
or Star
clearly a
Trek Discovery.
different show in a different universe that operates
It's
by
differently
completely
made,
different
but
rules.
it's differently made, but it's also just worse.
It's just more hand rubby.
Very hand rubby.
Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. That's the fight. I was going to say, but if I said this was Darmok on the ground with Picard, his name's not Darmok, and it's not Damar either. Damar likes his Kanar. Darmok is dead.
Yeah, I forgot what Dathan.
Oh
That was
yeah,
good.
I think that is the guy's name in this.
That's
You
a
actually
captain.
remember that?
I remember that specifically
Still a great
because I've
episode.
also rewatched the Red Letter Media review several
It
times.
goes to show, like, when Star Trek's on its game, it's got stuff that really sticks in the memory in, like, a unique, creative, kind of nerdy, a kind of a nerdy way, but still, people attach themselves. It gets attached to you with just like the creativity you wouldn't see from like non-science fiction stuff. That's one of the reasons why people like science fiction, because it can go into new ways of thinking about how people may react or
Again,
behave
that's one
about
of the things
stuff.
that really got me hooked on Star Trek. Just the simple fact that it's like, oh, I've never seen anything like this.
Hmm. I was gonna say, isn't this like season 6, but season 5, isn't it? I was gonna be like,
What Darmok?
yeah, it shows. The
I think
episode
that
is
was
called
either.
Darmok, of course,
Yeah,
but
it was. Yeah, it was either between seasons 3 and 6.
I mean, yeah, so much fucking gold and just
Yeah, so much magic.
so much Akiva
Just
gold,
pure
man.
magic. That's also the thing, is it kind of spoiled me. On the one hand, you could say that
Yeah,
it
that's
spoiled me
that's
for
the
good
thing.
TV.
Yeah,
On the other hand, that should be our standard
yes.
for quality TV,
I shouldn't be
for
considered
entertainment.
being spoiled. This should be the default,
Yeah, this is the
motherfuckers.
ground state. This is what the ground state should be, and that's also part of why people are pissed off at Star Trek Picard and Discovery. Is
Well,
it doesn't even reach the lowest lows.
yeah,
It goes beneath that.
Picard, Star Trek Discovery and Picard, I would say is down there with season 1, like fucking Encounter at Farpoint or Encounter at Farscape, as Rich Evans called it.
Encounter at Farscape.
Yeah, but and that's the thing, is that's why we shield for Lower Decks inappropriately, perhaps, but we shield for Lower Decks because when Lower Decks is actually good, it is better than TNG season 1. The average for TNG season 1. It's definitely better than Picard, and it's definitely better than Discovery. But
Way
again,
better.
that's not
That
even.
is the thing. The company keeps its Star Trek Picard and Discovery, and it doesn't deserve that.
It's weird though, like a stupid Rick and Morty cartoon version of Star Trek is more Star Trek than the actual official Star Trek shows they're making these. That's more sad. If somebody didn't want to watch Lower Decks because of that specifically, I can't blame them.
It's
If
more
you're like, I'm not watching a
comedy
cartoon.
than Rick and Morty. If you
Yes.
ever liked even the best of Rick and Morty, Lower Decks is at least on that level.
Yeah. The first season of Rick and Morty is still pretty decent, too, to some element. It wasn't until they're like, he's the atheist Reddit. He's the embodiment of Reddit gold.
Is the embodiment of Reddit gold.
Yeah. That's when they fucking wanted to turn Rick into that. And it's like, ugh, fucking...
Sentient piece of Reddit gold.
Fucking fuck off with that shit. Anyways, here's another one from Cool Ducat. Is just Ducat, like, on his back, fucking getting some rest, and it says, me dreaming of race war, in parentheses, I'm asleep, and then in extra parentheses, it's a good dream. I can imagine Ducat would be dreaming of race war pretty regularly. This is canonical.
This is now canon. This Star Trek canon.
Yes. Certainly more canonical than actual. Like, Star Trek Picard definitely isn't canon. And neither is Discovery. The thing is, it contradicted itself out of canon, so it can't be canon. The stuff in Discovery and Picard made themselves not canon. That's maybe the biggest benefit of those shows, is they proved themselves to be false, to not exist in any universe ever.
It also kept us from being too spoiled, I guess.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't want to be too spoiled.
yeah, you wouldn't want to be too spoiled. That would be bad. Anyways, Gul Dukat's bio, basically. Loving father, caring husband, slightly genocidal, intern hired by Mark Alemo. He leaves me drunken voicemails at 2 a.m. I turn them into tweets. Well, so this is not a parody account. This is officially
This is
designated.
not only the real thing, but in fact, it's something that we shouldn't be seeing, but we are anyway.
We shouldn't be talking about this. This should be a secret. We're fucking documenting the crimes here. The crimes of Mark Alemo. Anyways.
Heaven is a secret.
Here's another one from Cool Ducat. It's Ducat just looking over to Cisco and saying, "Did you know the Bajoran cooter naturally fits the shape of the Cardassian penis?" It just felt like mentioning that.
Just so you know.
Fucking. Here's one from somebody named Arthur Revolver, but it says it's in reply to a tweet that seems unavailable, I guess, but it says daily reminder that Ducat did nothing wrong in his fucking giant train death and destruction, and then Superman, but with Ducat's heads, hero Gul Ducat Ducat. That's the real insult. The Bajorans called him that. And then fucking out in front of it is a child that says ungrateful Bajorans, and it's Kira, and she's holding one of the fucking orbs, one of those orb cases. Thank you, Ducat, for fucking protecting. It even has a perfect face that fits with the fucking the Superman body. It's a shame that the tweet it's replying to is unavailable, even though he's not suspended. Here he is right here. Fucking his pinned tweet. I may have this somewhere else in the list, but his pinned tweet, Gul Dukat, saying, "Just heard that Cardassia invaded Bajor in protest against Cardassia, and as a show of solidarity with Bajor, I'm emptying my stock of Cardassian Kanar," and it's like emptying a bottle down the sink. And it doesn't look like Kanar, though. But it is. It does look like the bottle.
Syrupy.
It's the bottle,
It's
but
dark and syrupy. Otherwise, it's not Kanar.
yeah, I always thought Kanar was like some kind of molasses drink, probably molasses alcohol.
Literally molasses rum. Cardassian molasses rum.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Here's oh boy, oh
boy.
yeah. Here's a fucking tweet from P Daka Daka just gone. There is the reply saying there should have been a DS9 episode where they wore the two lightning bolts uniforms for the holodeck. And yeah, it's a shame that again we should have gotten to this sooner. We sat on these for like a week before doing some more of these. So
How much can change in 1 week?
yeah, I guess now we know. And that's the thing. Other accounts have gone, and some have come back. On perhaps an alt or somebody else to represent them, something like that. Um, Here's one that I really liked from Lieutenant Commander. The enemy vessel is attempting to depict you as a Soyjak, sir. Jam all comms and frequencies. Don't let it go through. It's too late, Commander. It's fucking just screaming Soyjak with 3 pips. Oh no. What's great about this, it starts with a picture of Data, and then it's fucking Riker in the captain's chair when he has 4 pips, and then goes back to this, and it's clearly from season 1. I don't buy it, man, but I think there's a reply. Oh yeah, friendly Wayun reply saying, "Now's a chance, Commander Data. Activate attack pattern Tango Delta. Forward all power to the main attack phasers. Forwarding all attack powered phasers. Aim for the Warbirds bound. Now, Mr. Data, fire Chud Jack."
Attack pattern Sigma Alpha.
Yeah, and then fucking it's the Romulans suddenly seeing a screen with the The Charjack is goofy. Goofy picture. Again, here's fucking Riker with 4 pips. Yes. Is this Commander Data?
It was the alternate mirror, or the fucking alternate universe where Picard...
Or it might be the Battle Bridge. He's on the Battle Bridge right now, or something. But, I don't know. Yeah, this is the Battle Bridge, because you could see it in the background here. It's very important. Canonically accurate. But what happened? Oh, this is probably from Best of Both Worlds when they separated the ship then. I don't know why I wouldn't instinctively just know that, but I don't. I just don't. Anyways.
I think there might have been another episode. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen, because it's like that episode's so ubiquitous that at some point you don't even watch it because like it's fucking Best of Both Worlds. Of course I know it.
I know the whole episode by heart, but then it's been years.
It's like, is that from Best of Both Worlds? Of it might fucking dementia kicking in and all that shit.
Also, all this stuff would have been on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched a bunch of... That's the thing. I watched a bunch of TNG on Netflix, but I don't want to watch the episodes that I remember so vividly. I want to see some of the episodes, like the Conundrum. I don't think I've ever seen that until recently. I don't remember it anyways. I may have seen it, but I don't remember it, where they all lose their memory.
I remember actually ended up seeing it, but yeah, it's like after... it was no longer on TV. I think I ended up seeing it on
it was after we canceled Netflix. We canceled Netflix and then we
I either seen it on Netflix or before we even got Netflix.
Well, I didn't watch it until after we canceled Netflix, and I watched it on that one piracy site. So, but it was at least it's great to watch a good episode of fucking TNG that you aren't familiar with. That's definitely a delightful thing. Anyways, we'll wrap up this episode. So there will be one more video at least. This last one mentions May 23rd when I point out finally recorded the STBR episode, our first one, of course. Should go up in a couple weeks. I can put it behind the paywall, which is what I did that time. And I'll mention again that next week's episode will be up right now on our Subscribe Star. So check the links below if you want to donate $1 to us. You want to donate $1.
Would you want to donate $1?
Yeah, but this ended up getting some retweets and stuff, and one was from Cool Ducat saying, "This isn't the Shitty Webcomics, is it?" And you replied saying, "SWC never dies." But Cool Ducat.
There's a lot of people in the past who have been like, "Oh, is this actually SWC?" And it's like, yeah, we've been around.
Yeah, we're still... That's the thing, is that when our blog got deleted, there was not really any, backup or stopgap. Most people didn't... they read our blog was on Tumblr intentionally to troll Tumblr. But the people who followed us, most of them didn't have Tumblr accounts. They just read us through bookmarking our specific blog or our RSS feed or something like that. So when our blog was gone, there wasn't any place they could go look at, because Tumblr doesn't even really let you read Tumblr unless you have an account, which, Tumblr can kind of suck a dick that way. Not to speak too many bad things about Tumblr. They're gay, but no. Anyways, yeah, this guy replies, our Cool Ducat replies saying, "I clicked through and saw the Wolf Girl. It's really you. I thought you fags died on that tanker all those years ago." This is wild, a reference to the wonderful Metal Gear Solid 2, where a guy's hand takes control of his body. Genius, Kojimbo. Genius. But yeah, I replied saying, "We've been back for a while and taking things to a whole new level," and I linked to some stuff. But anyways, but yeah, and from there we have the original tweet here actually got a bunch of replies. Manlet Thorn replied with a bunch of just tagging in a shitload of people. It's literally me. STBR comics wouldn't be a bad idea. And I reply saying, "I basically consider the tweets to be comics, but happy fun comics." And other people being familiar and wondering, what is this, what's going on? And I link them to our videos and our channel and that kind of thing. Somebody says, "Wait, we have our own comics." Emperor Philippa Giorgio saying, wait, we have our own comics. And I say, no, I'm just stretching the definition. But anyways, yeah, so next episode will probably be the last one for now. I mean, there's tons of tweets and content. I don't even have most. You know what? I should go open more.
This is more worthwhile content to me than any of the other shit.
It's fucking worth documenting because, again, so many of these accounts are disappearing and these tweets are disappearing with them. And it's like, when they disappear, they don't come back. Who's going to be able to bring them up and recall them? Now, thanks to our videos, you can do that. Anyways, so yeah, check us out next week or check out next week's episode early on our Subscribe Star. It'll cost money, though. But usually only the $1 tier, because Shitty Webcomics Weekly episodes are supposed to be free anyways. You could also just wait till next week. I don't know if I can give that much of a shit. I guess. We want money, but I mean, not to the point where I'm going to put a gun to people's heads. Not yet, anyways. Maybe soon I'll do that. Anyways. But yeah, unlike, share, re-comment, and should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.